Hi guys, and welcome to another beautiful interesting tutorial. So on this one today we're going to be making this beautiful halter neck double flared dress with a bow at the neckline area. I'm going to be showing you as usual how to get this done, both the cutting and the sewing process from start to finish in the most simplified way. So if you're a beginner, do not be scared, you're going to have this done by the end of this tutorial. Guys, I love this particular dress because it's so simple, it's so classy, it's so elegant. You can dress it up, you can dress it down depending on the outing, and it's so comfortable, especially in this festive period. So if you are considering something casual, simple and nice to wear out, please, this is one of the best choices you can make. So with that being said guys, let's dive right into the tutorial. As always, I began with the fabric placement. So I have this fabric placed like so. This side is the longer length of the fabric, which is the number of yards that I have, and then this is the length of the fabric. So I pick up the length side of the fabric and I place it over to the other side of the fabric to give me the triangular placement that can be used to cut on a flared, because the cutting is actually on a flared. So afterwards, this is what the placement looks like. We have our triangular shape. So from the tip of our triangle, I'm going to be measuring some inches downwards. Note that the bust is going to play a major role in this one. So if the bust is between 34 to like 38 inches, you're going to be measuring about 3 inches or 3.5 inches from the tip of the triangle. But if the bust is over 40 inches, in this case, you're going to be using about 4 to 5 inches from the tip of the triangle. This is to make sure that the bust area of the dress is not too tight, okay? So please take note of this. For me, I'm going to be using 3.5 inches from the tip of the triangle. So with that being said, I marked 3.5 inches from the tip of the triangle all the way downwards, from one end of the triangular shape fabric to the other, and I have those connected together. So at this point, remember that the dress has a joining at the center area. I don't know why that is, but because we want to replicate exactly what they did, I'm going to be coming down by half an inch from the 3.5 inches that I already marked. So I added half an inch to that and have that connected. This is just to make sure that we have enough allowance for our joining at the center. So from this second curve, I'm going to be marking the length of the dress. So the length that I'm going to be using is about 33 to 34 inches. So I mark that from the second curve. So in marking of the length, please note that you're not going to be moving the upper part of your tape rule so much, okay? Just make sure that it's a little bit stable. You move the lower part around the cone shape of your dress. So I marked out the length of the dress all the way around. I'm sure you can see how much I'm not moving the upper part of my tape rule. That's because of the small space that I have at the upper part, but the lower part I'm free to move it all the way to the width of the fabric. So after the marking of the length, I have them connected like so to give me a curve, and this is what it looks like. So just to reiterate what how I marked the length of my dress, you can see that the upper part, I'm not really moving it. I'm just showing you exactly what I did to get the length of the dress. So you can see how slightly I'm moving it. So that's how you get the length of your dress. So after that, I have the shape that I have cut out. After cutting out the lower part, I went ahead to cut out the lower part. Remember, I'm cutting on the second curve that I have at the upper part. So this gives me the cone shape that we have for a flared dress. So this is what the front looks like. Remember that, like I said, the center has a joining, and with that, the front part of the dress is set, and we're about to cut the back part of the dress. So in cutting the back part, I have my fabric placed like so, but I'm not going to be having the fabric placed in a triangular form. You can do that if you want, but because I already have the front that would guide me, so there is no need basically. So I just placed the front on the back. Ordinarily, you would expect me to give like a half-inch sewing allowance for the joining of the back, because that one is in pieces. But like I said, the front has a joining, the back has a joining, but the difference between the front and the back is that I am not opening the front into two, okay? So that's why I placed it together. So to give us the cone shape at the upper part, I'm going to be using the front as a guide to give me the pointed area of the upper part, and this is what we have. So at this upper part, I'm going to be coming up by 2 inches, so the back is going to be longer than the front with 2 inches. This is to avoid the back looking so funny and jumpy. So I extended the length of the back upwards by 2 inches, and the cutting is going to go along this way. So guys, if you have come this far, I'm sure you find this video really helpful. Please do well by subscribing, liking and sharing this video so that it can get to a larger audience. So this is what the cutting process of the back part of my fabric looks like. And obviously, as you can see, we have the front part and the back part of our dress or fabric already. So to mark out the halter area of the neck, we're going to be using the front, not the back length. So from the front, we're going to be measuring about 8 to 8.5 inches. That is dependent on how long your halter neck is, or the length of your halter neck is from your neck area. So I used 8.5 inches from the front, not the back. Please remember, we are going to be having the center front and the center back stitched all the way down like so. Okay, so that's basically what you're going to be doing at the center front and then the center back. But for the center back, we are going to be leaving an opening for easy wearing. So from the upper part, I left about 7 inches. So that automatically means that the stitching of the back starts from the 7 inches mark. So you stitch the back from the 7 inches all the way down. Okay, so that's basically that for the stitching. And at the upper part, you just close it neatly. Also, the stitching at the sides, you begin with from that point that we notched all the way down. That's for the joining of the sides. So at this point, I want to show you something. Remember the 2 inches extra that we added to the upper part of the back at this area? It's now time for us to take care of it at the lower part. So at the lower part, I'm going to be coming up by 1.5 inches. I'm not going to be taking exactly the 2 inches that we added. This is for a reason. So I'm going to be coming up by 1.5 inches at the center back. Okay, so I mark 1.5 inches like so, and then I'm not going to be marking the 1.5 inches round, just at the center area of the back. Basically, you start with 1.5 inches at the center back and then carefully enter back to the side of the dress. Do not make the curve look sharp. At the end of the day, it still looks curvy and neat. Can you see what I did? So from the 1.5 inches, I cut back to the actual length that I have initially. So after that, I open it up, and this is what the back looks like. Can you see? So this is what the upper part looks like. We have our opening already, and then the lower part. So I get the front side of the fabric and I place it over the back part like so. As we all know, the back is still longer than the front at the upper part. So at the notched area for the halter neck, I begin my stitching like I said earlier. Begin the stitching of the sides from that point all the way down. And I used 1/2 inch on both sides for this stitching. Okay, so that's basically that. So for the lower flared, I've placed my fabric on fold once like so. And then I have it placed on fold again. So this is the second fold. And then I also folded over like so. So this is the third fold. So at this point, what you need is the extra length you're going to be adding to the upper part of your dress. So once I had the total length that I want, that's for the total dress, I have that and I have the point marked out. So to cut the upper cuff area of the flared, from that point to the length of my dress gave me 5 inches. So from this tip to the length of my dress, I got 5 inches. So I'm going to be marking the 5 inches all the way around to give me the upper cuff area of my flare that I'm about to cut. So I've gotten the upper part cuff of the flare, and then I have that connected together. So from that point, I'm going to be marking the length that I have, and that gave me 10 inches. So from the upper cuff area of the flare, I'm going to be marking 10 inches all the way around, and after which I'm going to be connecting them together and have that cut out. And just in case you'll be wondering how many folds we have here, we have a total of 8 folds. So this is 4, and then this other one is 4 as well. But that is not still going to be enough for the upper part of the dress. So we are going to be having this cut into 2. So after this, I'm going to be cutting the second one just like this exactly, so that it can go around the upper part of the dress. So this is the cutting process of the upper and the lower part of our flare for the lower part of our dress. So after the cutting, this is what we have, and I'm going to be slashing this open at this point. So I'm opening up this part so that you can see what the full flare looks like. Like I said, I'm going to be cutting another one of this. So I have 2 of these already, and I'm going to be cutting another, making a total of 4. To cut the bow on the neck area, you get your piece of fabric, and then I have it folded into 2 like so. This is the length I want to use. So this down part is not straight, so I want to straighten it out so that it gives me a uniform length at the down part. So that's the length I'm going to be using. So I get my neck circumference, which is 15 inches, and then I divide by 2, giving me 7.5, and then I have that marked out like so. So this is 7.5 inches. I mark that all the way up, And from this point 7.5 inches, I come up by 1.5 inches. And once I've gotten that, from the center fold, I'm going to be connecting with a curve from the center fold to that 1.5 inches that I marked upwards like so. And at this point, from this down part, I'm going to be coming up by 3.5 inches all the way from the center to the other point. That's the 7.5 inches width neckline that I have. So I mark 3.5 inches all the way from the center to this point, and then I connect with a curve up to this point. Okay, so now that I'm done with the curve part, I'm going to be extending this point with a straight line outward like so. So I extend it to the length that I want the bow to be, but at the tip of the bow I made it wider, as you can see in the picture. So the tip is wider, and I'm going to be cutting this into two. I'm going to be having two of this so that I can use one to turn the other. So after cutting, this is what the two bows look like, and then I notch the center of both bows, and when I open it up, this is what they both look like. And see how curvy it looks. It's not looking straight, so this enables it to slip on the neck. Okay, so that it looks like a collar indeed and not standing, or there's any space by the time you tie it around the neck. It helps it slip on the neck. So this is after I had stitched the two sides of the dress. So this is what it looks like on both sides, leaving out this upper part like so. So I didn't stitch this part, and you already know this is the outer neck area, and turning it to the right side. So to finish up this part, all you need to do is just to weave this part. You just weave it, and then you have it hemmed like so. Okay, so that's just to finish the fourth side. You hem and then you stitch on both sides. You do that to the second, the third, and then the fourth. It's after doing this that you now finish up by stitching the bow around the neckline. Okay, then coming down to the down part, we're going to be attaching the second flare to the main bodice of the dress. So you attach it all the way around the down part. So for the stitching, I'm going to be stitching around like so, leaving an opening for the neck round. So after stitching, this is what it looks like. Please note that I didn't stitch all the way around. I left the part that is going to be stitched to the bodice of that's the neck part of the dress, which is this point. So this is the part that is going to be stitched around the neck circumference. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to be turning it inside out. So after turning, this is what I have. And then at this point where the stitching stops, I'm going to be notching, that is cutting it out so that it lays flat. So I notch on this side, and I also notch on the second part as well so that it lays flat. So after notching, I open it up. You can see the purpose of the notching, so that you can see as I'm trying to bring it out, it is relaxed. And at this point, what is left is for me to attach the bow to the neck of the dress. So I get the center part of the bow, and then I attach the center front. And then I'm going to be stitching all the way to this point, can you see? And then I would leave about 3 to 3.5 inches width up to this point. And from that point, I'm going to be attaching the back parts to this. Okay, you can see what I did. So that's it for this part. And then to the other side as well, from the center front as well, I'm going to be stitching all the way to this point. And then I mark 3.5 inches as well. From that 3.5, I attach the back neckline to it. So whatever I have left, I'm going to be closing it up at this side. Okay, so you can see I still have excess left that I didn't close up, so I'm going to be closing that up. And basically this is the final part of this dress. So after I'm done attaching the bow to the neckline, the dress is ready, and this is the attachment. You can see what I meant by all those explanations I was giving. And then at the back, it is tied like so. And with this, a beautiful halter neck dress with a bow and flare at the down part is ready. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, guys. This was not easy for me, but I had to do this for you guys. So after all said and done, this is what the dress came out looking like, guys. I love this dress. It's the simplicity for me. You can dress it up, you can dress it down, depending on the occasion you are wearing it to. Personally, if I'm going to be wearing it to a social gathering, I'm going to be doing without the cape. But if I'm going to be wearing it to a religious gathering, definitely I'm going with a cape on it. So, and I also have it in this Ankara form as well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. For me, I absolutely love every single part of this dress. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in my very next one. Bye.